All right, let's dive into something we all think we know inside and out, hydration. But what if the golden rules we've been taught aren't the whole story? We're going to get to the bottom of it.
You know the one. I know the one. It's probably the most common piece of health advice on the planet. Drink 8 glasses of water a day. It's been hammered into us since we were kids. Simple, right? But here's the thing. What if that one-size-fits-all rule is just plain wrong? What if the real answer is more about you and less about a magic number? Okay, let's really get into this. To figure out the right amount, let's start with the side of the story we're all a bit scared of: not drinking enough. You know, dehydration. The first warning signs are probably things you felt before. That's sudden thirst, feeling weirdly tired, maybe a little dizzy. That's your body waving a little flag, saying, hey, I need some water over here. These are your first clues, and they're super important to pay attention to. And get this, that feeling of thirst, it's actually a late signal. By the time your brain tells you you're thirsty, your body is already playing catch up. You're already down a couple of glasses. So yeah, it's a critical signal, but it also means your system's already feeling the strain. Now, this whole thirst signal thing gets even trickier as we get older. Over time, that built-in alarm system can get a little quiet. For older adults, this is a big deal because they might not even realize they're getting dehydrated until it's much more serious, leading to bigger health problems. So we all agree not enough water is bad. Got it. But in our rush to stay hydrated, we never really stop to ask, can you overdo it? Can there actually be too much of a good thing? Well, you might be surprised to hear that the answer is a resounding yes. So let's flip the script and look at the other extreme, something you hear about way less often, but can be just as dangerous: overhydration. The official name for it is hyponatremia, which basically means water intoxication. It's what happens when you drink so much water so fast that you literally water down your blood. This dilutes essential electrolytes like sodium and throws your body's balance completely out of whack. Water then rushes into your cells, causing them to swell up like balloons. And when this happens to brain cells, it's a life-threatening emergency. So how much is too much? Well, your kidneys are amazing, but they have a speed limit. For a healthy adult, they can only process about 1 liter of fluid per hour. If you consistently chug more than that, you're essentially flooding the engine. It's a key number to keep in mind, especially if you're an endurance athlete or out in the blazing heat. And here's what makes this so incredibly tricky. The symptoms, headaches, feeling sick, being tired, sound a lot like dehydration, right? So what might someone do? They might drink even more water, making a bad situation so much worse. It can escalate incredibly fast. Okay, so we've got dehydration on one side and overhydration on the other. Clearly, the goal isn't just to follow some random rule. It's about finding your own personal Goldilocks zone. Not too little, not too much, but just right. This table nails the difference. See? On the dehydration side, you've got that dark urine and thirst. On the overhydration side, urine is totally clear and you feel sick and have a headache. It all comes down to sodium. Too concentrated on one end and dangerously diluted on the other. That sweet spot is right there in the middle. So where in the world did that 8 glasses rule even come from? Well, it traces back to a 1945 recommendation. But, and this is the part everybody conveniently forgot, the original advice also said that a huge chunk of that water comes from the food we eat. You know, fruits, veggies, even a bowl of soup, they all count. That little detail changes everything, doesn't it? Okay, so we've tackled the biggest myth of all. Now for a little bonus round. Let's bust a few myths about the type of water we drink. First up, fizzy water. There's this idea floating around that sparkling water is either bad for you or that it doesn't hydrate as well as plain old still water. So what's the truth? Fact is, it's a total myth. The bubbles don't change a thing when it comes to hydration. As long as it doesn't have a bunch of added sugar, sparkling water hydrates you just as well, and there's no good evidence that it harms your bones or anything else. So go ahead and enjoy that fizz. Okay, next up is the one you see everywhere, promising all sorts of health miracles: alkaline water. The claim is that its higher pH level can do wonders for your body. The truth? There's really no solid science to back up these big claims. Your body is an absolute master at keeping its own pH levels in a super tight, perfect range. If people feel better drinking alkaline water, it's almost certainly because they're simply more hydrated in general, not because of the pH. So, after busting all those myths and looking at the dangerous extremes, what's the actual takeaway? It all boils down to something incredibly simple. Forget about counting glasses. You have two amazing real-time hydration gauges built right into your body. Number one is your thirst. It's a direct message from your brain. Listen to it. And number two is your urine color. Just aim for a pale, straw-like yellow. It's that easy. These two things are going to be way more accurate for you than any generic rule ever could be.
So that leaves us with one last thought. We are surrounded by endless health advice, rules, and hacks, but when it comes to something as basic as drinking water, maybe the smartest, most sophisticated guide you can possibly listen to is your own body.